Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Property Management 101, and today we'll be discussing the 3 best practices for handling pending renewals. If you've not already done so, please watch my disclosure video as well as my why I do this video. If you find this video helpful and learn something new, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications. This video will be helpful for anyone that's involved with managing pending renewals between the time they are sent out until the time the resident makes a decision and renews or goes on notice. This video will apply best for the conventional side of multifamily as well as single-family rentals. Residents now more than ever are looking around the market for lower rents, talking to other residents about their renewal offers, taking longer than before when making the renewal decisions, and due to this, staffs are spending a lot of time with following up with residents more than before. Number 1 best practice to keep in mind when managing pending renewals: send out their renewal offers anywhere from 10 to 15 days prior to the required notice period. Based off their lease, it is important that you send out the renewal prior to their required notice period. Data shows that if you give a resident too much time to make a decision, sometimes this can backfire by them not making a decision in the time they are required. In most markets and sites should be enough time for the resident to look around at other options and have still enough time to make a decision prior to their required notice period. I wouldn't recommend doing anything less than 1 week before their notice required period, as the resident might get upset. This is a pretty tight window to make a decision on. Second best practice to keep in mind with handling pending renewals: follow up with the lease weekly. To ensure the residents are reminded that they need to inform the office of their decision, I would recommend following up at least every week, in some cases twice. Also, if you're not receiving any feedback from the resident, I would always recommend switching up your method of contact. First, start with an email, then move to a phone call, then text if your company supports it, then maybe a visit to the door or notice to the door. This will be important to ensure that the resident received your offer. Oftentimes, the resident may have changed their email address, or the email went to their junk folders, the resident switched phone numbers, etc. And the last best practice to keep in mind when handling pending renewals: inform the resident if they fail to give proper notice by the required period what will result in that. Make sure with each notice you kindly remind them what will occur if the resident does not give notice prior to their required period that is outlined in their lease. For example, if the resident is required to give a 60-day notice but fails to give notice until 45 days prior to the end of their lease, they may be subject to paying a daily month-to-month rate for those 15 days after the lease expires. I will let them know that jump in that month-to-month fee. Also, another example could be is if they don't renew or give notice and they stay in the unit, please remind them what that month-to-month fee is. This will help ensure the resident is aware of their options and the results by failing to give proper notice. Hope you found this information helpful today. It makes the process a little bit easier for you and your team. If you found this video helpful and learned something new, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications. Happy leasing!